Hello one and all, and welcome back to more RWBY discussions. I am your only mate, and with me as always is...
an incredibly confused Max the Future Hates. This is all backwards now.
Yeah, so with this new time slot, like, working for both of us, means that I'm able to record these, edit these, and, well, upload these. So, we just kind of decided, you want to do the intro from now on?
Whatever works. It doesn't really matter in the long run.
Nah, not really.
Although I do suddenly feel like I'm on the back foot for some reason. It's very strange. Ultimately, it just made the most sense and is convenient for both of us. So, this just works out. Maybe it'll end up going back at some point. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows. Hey.
Well, you did the intro. Come on. Tell the people what we're doing.
I'm not used to it, okay?
I can pick it up from here if you're not okay with it.
Anyway, we got chapter 2. And, okay, I forgot to mute the actual episode.
You fool! That's gonna get picked up on the thing.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yes, Volume 8, Episode 2, Refuge.
Yeah, and we're in prison.
We are in prison, yes. It's always a great start when the first thing you see is Crow solemnly holding the pin of his dead friend in his hand.
Yeah, and we got Robin talking about how, oh, it's all your fault. Much like me, when you first saw this, did you think for a moment she was talking to Crow?
I actually did, which I thought was really strange, because it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. She seemed so nice and supportive of him, you know, during the end of the last season, so why would she suddenly have turned around on him so fast? Then it turns out, she ain't talking to him.
I mean, I can actually mark this as a first time I'm actually happy to see Jacques.
Yeah, I mean, it is to see him in prison. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I legitimately thought we were never going to see him again.
I mean, based on what happened in Volume 7, yeah, I can get that, but...
I just figured he was going to get thrown in jail, and we would have never heard from him again. Maybe some sort of, I don't know, after the story is done sort of synopsis thing. I'm like, I don't know, he rotted, or some other prisoner shanked him, or something. I don't know.
Jesus.
I don't know what happens.
Yeah, true, it does.
I've never been to prison, but I've seen a lot of prison stories.
Same. And, you know, you hear a bunch of stuff from...
Exactly. Who knows? Regardless, Jacques is obviously playing the victim card.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's really obnoxious and annoying, and also it's hilarious because nobody has even the slightest interest in humoring that idea. Well, granted, Crow's just kind of in his own mental space right now, and Robin's the only one actually engaging in conversation. So, I mean, it makes sense, but still, she's not buying it, and I can assume everyone else in the room doesn't either.
And she also knows that Crow didn't kill anyone.
Yeah. Seems like there actually some degree of a friendship brewing here, which is pretty freaking awesome if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm totally down with Crow having more people in his life that, you know, keep him from being massively depressed. Granted, the last time he had one of those, it ended horribly, but, you know, that doesn't mean he shouldn't try again. And I'm not even talking, like, I'm 100% sure somebody out there, I don't follow the shipping sphere, but I'm sure somebody out there is into it, and I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it has to be that.
All I gotta ask in regards to that is, can Crow x Robin be called jailbirds? I don't know what I don't know what it's actually called. I just kind of want it to be called that just for the situation.
I mean, it's more clever than a lot of shipping names I've heard in the past, so I'll take it. Sure, whatever. I'm not for or against nothing. I'm just saying it's totally cool if it's just a friend.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Like,
yeah,
totally down.
The writers can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, down with this being a friendship. If the writers decide let's have it be more than that, I'd be like, okay, sure.
Either works. Also, surprise, Watts is here, which makes this entire situation really freaking weird to me. The way this... Is this like maybe a temporary holding cell for... Because I guess all of these people... No. Watts was definitely arrested way before the other three were. So why is he here?
Actually, no, Jacques was arrested first.
Yeah, Jacques was arrested before Watts was?
Yeah.
I thought that happened like an episode or two before.
No. We were in Schnee Manor. They found out all the stuff that Jacques had done.
The fight with... Wait, Watts and Ironwood's fight happened at the same time?
No. That happened after.
Oh. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, no, then I guess that lines up. Because I was just going to say, because this is an extraordinarily bizarre way of holding prisoners, and they like, why would these four conveniently all be next to each other at this exact moment in time? And I felt like that was really weird. But if it's true, and this is some kind of holding cell thing for, like, transitional purposes, that would make a lot more sense to me. But anyway, yeah, Watts is here, and he's just doing his usual Sabat things. You know how it be.
I do like how he is just on the bed.
Yeah, he's pretty chill about this whole situation, and Robin is scaring the ever-loving hell out of Jacques, and it's pretty great.
I love Jacques' face.
He is an absolute coward.
I know, right?
It's pretty glorious to see him get knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
Any ding-dang way.
Oh, that face is priceless.
It's fantastic. A bunch of soldiers decides to take Watts away after punching him in the face with a gun, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that would just be hitting him with a gun, but still.
Yeah. Also, a little detail. Before the door even opens, notice how Crow, like, clutches the pin and, like, hides it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if the guards saw that he had it, they'd take it away.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't want that to happen. That makes sense.
I'm curious as to how he snuck that past anyone in the first place, but whatever.
I don't know, maybe he turned into a bird.
True.
In retrospect, actually, couldn't he have conceivably just turned into a bird while being arrested and left?
I just like, hey, do you guys want to see a magic trick? I mean, we're arresting you, but okay, sure. Puff of smoke and a bird flies away.
How do you do that? But I imagine it's a combination of shock and guilt combined with a potential of not wanting to leave the scene.
Yeah.
I'm sure there actually is an actual reason. I just, that's one of those things you would see in like a what if comedy skit routine sort of thing, That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, it'd be like if, let's say, Robot Chicken started doing RWBY. That's one of the sort of things they'd probably end up doing.
Dear God, I hope they never do. That would never end well.
Yeah, same.
Anyway, moving on. Crow wants to murder Ironwood.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Tyrion I get, but...
Well, I mean, okay, to be fair, he didn't 100% say that specifically, but the editing and the framing made it sure seem like that's what he meant. And admittedly, I mean, Ironwood has gone completely and utterly pants-on-head insane.
I mean, he shot Councilman Chad. What more evidence do you need, people?
Exactly. That's immediate clause for just having all of his authority removed from him instantaneously. And then we cut ourselves over to a news broadcast, where a news reporter is made to look like a chump.
I love that.
And this character is named...
Joanna. Wait.
She's the one who lays down the knowledge. What?
Hold on, isn't Joanna the one who's voiced by Marissa Lenti?
I do not recall.
Hang on. I'm just gonna check the credits quickly.
Yep, it's because we're the most professional of people. Okay, Joanna. Yes, it is.
I remember you bringing that up last time.
Yes, it is. It sounded like her, but at the same time, I did not want to be the guy who completely got that wrong and looked like an idiot.
Fair.
Because it would also be incredibly disrespectful to any combination of voice actors if I got that wrong.
Yeah, I had that recently.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I heard about that, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Joanna's basically... in her own way, sort of laying down the law and saying what's happening and what needs to happen. Clearly not exactly the most used to public speaking, but she gets the point across, I think.
I think she gets it across really well.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, Ironwood's not coming to help you anymore, but we have a plan. Grab supplies to keep warm and any food possible. Meet us here.
Basically, yeah. That's the long and short of it. It's like, well, it's like we can't really guarantee or promise literally anything, but we can definitely help. We're gonna try at least.
And I love how she just shoves the microphone back into that guy's chest.
I'm gonna be 100% real. It would have been a lot more amazing if she just straight up dropped it on the ground.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing, yeah.
I mean, the way she did it makes more sense, but I'm just saying again, it's easy to pick at stuff like that and point stuff like that out.
Yeah.
Then immediate cut over to Yang and her team, the Yang squad, the Yang gang.
I'm trying to go through this as slowly as I can so I can get Yang's face when she finds the bike. There it is.
Yep, there it is. You know what? That's probably going to end up being the picture we use. Although there are a couple things that could be pretty good something else for it.
You know, I had an idea. What if I just like cut together various faces?
I mean, to be fair, there's at least 3 or 4 of them that are really good in this episode. Nothing but respect for the animation team in regards to that. I mean, in regards to all of it, but obviously, I like the sometimes overly cartoonish reactions the characters have about certain things.
Yeah, same.
It's like it's in those brief moments I remember. Oh yeah, this is technically anime. I'm not used to anime being 3D. But then Yang pulls out a face like that, and you're like, oh, right. Or when Yang and Weiss were cooing over that baby in the previous volume.
Oh, that was volume 6.
Yeah, I know. That's still previous volume.
Well, it wasn't the previous. You know what? Never mind.
No, but it was a previous volume. You don't argue semantics with me, man. I'm doing my best.
Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Anyway, new motorcycle.
Yep, and I think I've been hearing people call this group Team Joyride.
I mean,
like,
makes about as much sense as any, I suppose. Yeah. Also, where did she get those glasses? Yang has new sunglasses. Where did those come from?
She had them last volume.
She did?
Yeah.
Man, I am forgetting everything. I should have rewatched the past volume before I watched this one.
I would have in a super convenient way because I got the Blu-ray, but...
Of course you did.
Well, yeah, it's me.
I know.
But my Xbox One X... Oh, sorry. No, just my Xbox One... suddenly decided, hey, I'm not gonna play discs anymore.
Oh, have fun. Anyway.
I miss playing games.
I know. Yang being Yang actually shows some of her previous characterization and goes for a crazy little trick, and it's pretty great. Oscar is not enthused.
I love how the caption is just epic guitar solo.
That is pretty, it's pretty appreciated. Although at the same time, I have to ask, Oscar, out of everybody, why specifically did you decide to ride on the back with Yang? She is by far the most insane of the drivers, clearly. If you were, scared of... Like, if you were scared of possibly insane stunts or going too fast, I feel like going with Sean would have made the most sense, because he is also that.
Maybe he assumed, like, okay, Yang's had a bike for years, so she's clearly, like, the most experienced driver.
Well, that's true, but it doesn't make it the best option.
Like, he probably didn't account for that. He just thought, okay, she's got the most experience, I'm gonna ride on the back of her bike.
And then she's doing flippy flips, and everything gets all vomity. And then he ended up swallowing her hair.
Oof.
Luckily, I don't think Yang noticed, so he shan't be punched. Also, technically, it would be her fault, so she couldn't blame him anyway.
Yeah. Also, okay, I even noticed this. As they're driving up to that bridge, and after they drive under it, look at the top of it.
As they drive under the bridge. Okay. Look at the top of it. Oh, snap!
No,
it's the dude!
No, it's even there beforehand. Like, when it's that... like, after the stunt jump.
Yeah, no, you're right. There it is. Oh, man. Okay, well, if people are watching, they know what it is, but let's not spoil it in the off chance for some reason they decide to not.
Okay, if someone actually is watching this before watching the actual episode, put in the comments, why do you do that?
I don't understand you as a human, but I respect your rights to do how you so choose.
Like, I'm genuinely curious as to why you would watch a discussion about something before watching it yourself.
I adamantly believe that that's not the case for anybody, but I'm just covering all bases.
Anyway, moving on. Ren shoots a camera.
Yeah, he does. He's Stealth Man.
Or he has to protect his image.
Exactly. Out of all the characters, he's the stealthiest guy. He is a ninja. Looks like a ninja, acts like a ninja.
I mean, it's like Nora said. He's basically a ninja.
Basically. And just making a look around. John still being cool with all the local kids. It's pretty great.
Yeah, man, like, I was having a conversation with some dudes, like, last night about John. Yeah. How far this dude has come.
You know, no, absolutely. Out of all of the characters, and I say this full well knowing how much so many characters have gone through, and how different almost every character has become since the show first started. And I'm not even talking just in the combat capabilities, because obviously he's gotten better at that.
Oh yeah.
But John has basically almost completely 100% evolved into an entirely different person since the series began.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like actual leadership capabilities. He's capable of fighting. He can stand up for himself and speak to others on an equal playing field. These were all things very, very, very far removed from how he was when we first met him.
Yeah, it's really great.
Granted, you know, when the first thing you ever see a character do is vomit due to motion sickness, you really can only go up from there, but maybe that was intentional.
Yeah. I assume it had to be.
Yeah, no matter what. Anything he does has to be a step up from that. Also, he has a new weapon, apparently, in, like, hard light grenades.
Yeah. Like,
that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier in the year, but Jean just gets tankier and tankier as the show progresses.
Yeah, he may not be able to do a ton of damage, but man, can that dude seriously divert attention and take hits for people.
And
it's a perfectly respectable role in a team composition. Let's just be perfectly real here. Every team needs one.
Yeah, and you know, I said this in like one of our private discussions, but okay, a Death Battle matchup I've wanted for Jean for a while is him versus Sokka from Avatar.
And to your defense, and my defense, as someone who also wanted to see that, Jean didn't kick so much ass before now.
Yeah, so as the show goes on, I just feel bad for Sokka.
Because he's still the most comparable character you could make for that situation. And I don't want to diss Sokka, because that guy also comes a long way by the end of his series, too.
Oh yeah, Sokka is awesome.
Yeah, he like legitimately gets really good, but I feel like Jean is, just by virtue of the series going on for longer, is starting to outpace him just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the boomerang could come in clutch, but...
Maybe. Regardless, we're not here to talk about that.
Nah.
I just really wanted to talk about Jean, and now I'm actually proud of the guy. But, so, oh yeah, also, I guess we kind of completely forgot that to bring up the fact that Yang is trying to, you know, convince a large group of people to go to the crater. A few people are having a bit of trouble with that. Some Grimm show up, and then we see the fighting and the hard light grenades and stuff like that. That's where that all came from.
Yeah. And then Ren, Mario stomps them.
Yeah, he does. It's pretty impressive. Fun fact, that would hurt like hell.
I can imagine.
Seriously, imagine even someone as svelte as Ren is, a full-grown man landing feet first onto your upper back.
Yeah, no thanks. Oh, you know what?
You'd crumple like a soda can, man.
No, I just realized Blake has felt that before.
Yeah, no, she has, exactly. Blake, inexplicably tanky for her role in the team dynamic. Actually, that's something I really wanted to bring up really quick after you say what you want to say.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I still find that a little odd, but I'll take it. Like, out of Team RWBY.
About how tanky Blake is? Yeah, it's very weird.
Like, Blake is like the tankiest of Team RWBY somehow.
I mean, it really should be Yang, but technically she still technically is, but regardless. A friend of mine, who I don't know if he actually wants to be brought up at all, so I won't say his name, but something he pointed out, okay, well, two things he pointed out. One, he will absolutely flip all of the tables in the entire state he lives in if Nora dies. That's something that needs to be thrown out there.
I cannot blame him for that, although to be fair, I think Ren has a lot more flags.
Yeah, no, I said that to him too, and that only made him feel slightly better, because that's still awful. But the other thing is, currently, and for a very long time, with the addition of, you know, what's left of Team Juniper and Oscar, and even some of the other supplementary characters that have been added over the course of the past few volumes, Team RWBY isn't really much of a thing right now, and hasn't been for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Basically, and they the way they keep splitting up, I mean, they did do the fights with the Aesops. That was a shining moment for that whole situation, no doubt. But as far as being a full cohesive team working together, they haven't really been doing that. They've been mixing and matching with all of these other characters, and they're really more of just kind of a united front. So while the show is still RWBY, Team RWBY isn't much of a thing. And I'm wondering if that was a deliberate choice, something that just kind of happened coincidentally and they didn't mean to do that. I don't know 100%. Ultimately, it's fine because we're still, you know, we're progressing the story and everything's going fine, and I like it, and it's all good.
Yeah, the story's progressing, characters are developing.
Yeah, I've got no complaints. It's just something that after he said that, I suddenly went, oh, wow, you're right. Anyway, speaking of character development and changing, Ren seems progressively more agitated and irritable.
About the idea of using a semblance to mask people.
And just kind of fed up with literally all aspects of existence. Because Yang basically says, hey, if John soups you up, could you hide up all of these people? And he's all like, I guess. He doesn't say it that way, but it sure felt that way.
Or maybe it's just like, ever since they discovered his semblance, it's just like, that's the one thing they always ask him to do.
Well, I mean, if it was anybody else, they would ask them.
I know, but it's just like...
I don't really see much of a problem in the whole idea of, hey, guy we know can do really useful thing. Can you do really useful thing for us, possibly?
I don't know, maybe...
If he felt like he couldn't, he could have just said no.
I don't know, maybe it's like, masking people. No one ever just wants to talk to me. Like, situation.
That's slightly more possible.
I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but that's just... that's just something that came to mind, and I think would be, a little funny for, like, a parody thing.
Yeah, it would. I actively am not 100% sure where Ren's story is going. All I know is that no matter what direction it goes in, it's concerning, and I'm not looking forward... I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, but I don't want to see where it goes, because I know it's not going to end well.
Basically, we don't want these characters to die.
I don't want them to die, and I don't want them to get hurt, and I want them to be happy, and I just want everything to work out for once, and it's never going to happen.
Yeah. Let Ren and Nora work things out, and be together and be happy, okay?
I'm just saying, ever since Volume 3... anytime the characters have made one step forward, it's always been, like, immediately falling back down the stairs after they do it. Every slight victory has been led with a crushing defeat in some capacity. And it hurts.
Yeah,
I'm just tired of it. I want them to have an unrefutable, complete, and total victory. Like, even when you look at stuff like, they managed to get away from the apathy. I mean... That was a side thing. They didn't even technically end up having to end up in that situation, but they did, and they got out of it, and that's great. Or when they fought the Aesops, technically they shouldn't have had to fight the Aesops at all if Ironwood hadn't gone completely insane. So even their victories feel like smaller potatoes, I guess.
I mean, we know, like, eventually in the show they're gonna all fight Salem together, and somehow they're gonna, beat her. The world is gonna be saved.
Eventually, yes. I'm just saying, it's a weird duality, because I both want that right now, goddammit, but also I don't want the show to end. So
yeah, I'm the same.
So it's a weird line to walk. I want these characters to win more often, but if they did nothing but win, then the show would end. So, pick your lane. You have to have one. You can't be in both. Anyway, Yang has to deal with racist grandma.
Yeah. By the way, I freaking love Yang in this scene.
Yeah, she's actually, well, I mean, for one thing, she's able to convince the racist grandma to listen to her.
Yeah, but also just the way that she puts it, and just like,
Oh, yeah.
You can see the passion behind it as well.
Oh, absolutely. Can't imagine why Yang would have a vested interest in faunus rights.
I'm totally not gonna be going back to this later with a scene with a particular character.
No, absolutely not. What's the precedent for that? Clearly nothing. Anyway, that's not to say that that's not to say that Yang would tolerate casual racism anyway. I'm just saying it probably didn't help. I mean, obviously, I don't think any of the characters that that are on the good guy side would be down for that. It's like, hey, maybe stop that.
I mean, hell, even Weiss would have said something.
Oh, absolutely, especially now.
Well,
Never forget. Oh man, would she have yeeted racist grandma into a trash can? That would have been great.
Can we see like the alternate reality where the teams go the opposite direction and Weiss does that?
I mean, okay, that would be less excusable because it's just some random grandma, and in fact, not some drunk racist, which is a huge difference in everything. One is much more socially acceptable than the other, I feel, for yeeting, but, you know, again, it's one of those things you can think about and go, haha, I mean, obviously that wouldn't happen, but haha, that sounds funny to me.
Yeah.
Because then you just think of yeeting a grandma, and that's a funny concept in general.
Also, I
use your words when you can fling stuff.
I like how this grandmother's daughter just like awkwardly leans in, like, I'll go get our things then.
Yeah. Have you noticed that's actually a thing that happens a lot, at least recently? I'm not sure if it's been this way since the beginning, but there's been a lot of scenes of characters just kind of schlooping the top halves of their body onto screen from the side. I've seen RWBY do it. I've seen Weiss do it. Hell, Oscar and Ren did the exact same thing just before when they showed the bikes off for the first time.
Well, and Oscar and Jean did it last volume.
Exactly. So it's this weird, very distinct motion that's kind of like a slinking motion. It's not like it's deliberately stylized to the point where I feel like it's almost like some kind of running gag for the animators at this point.
Oh, speaking of gags, feel free to make jokes about this. We've been talking so long, the rest of my tea went cold.
Well, now that's an incredibly British sentence. All right, well, I apologize for that. I feel like that was going to happen no matter what.
No, that's fine. I didn't drink it fast enough.
That's your fault, not mine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so everyone's being slowly but surely transported over to the crater, and Oscar has a in-depth conversation with Ozpin inside his brain, where we learn... Basically, Ozpin was never technically gone. He just made a conscious effort to not say anything ever, which is kind of a bad thing to do.
By the way, as Oscar and Ozpin are having this conversation, look at the background on top of the buildings.
Okay, I suppose I will. I'm watching this scene carefully now, but as I do, I will also say they have a discussion about how basically Oscar and Ozpin, their souls are still intertwining and are basically on the cusp of merging fully. And ultimately, neither of them actually have any interest in having that happen, but they don't have anything resembling a choice in the matter, which is a really depressing and kind of horrifying aspect about their character when you think about it for too long.
Yeah, it really is.
And I'm just kind of buying time as I continue to try to look at the skyline.
Okay, it's specifically after you see the plushie on the ground.
That's good, because that's exactly where I'm at. And now I'm looking at the rooftops, and oh my god, there it is again! Wow, they really foreshadowed that thing.
I know, right?
Holy crap. Ah, man, did you discover this, or did you, like, read about it somewhere?
I saw people, like, post screenshots.
It was like, man, look at all these screenshots. This thing's hiding the entire time.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And also very good foreshadowing, because... Okay, well, you know what? We've waited long enough. It's a freaking gigantic Grim. It's the Grim from the end of the last episode, and it's been silently stalking... basically, it's been stalking Oscar this whole time. And this is really good foreshadowing because what's one thing we've literally never seen a Grimm ever do?
We'll get to it. There's still more episode.
That's true. That's true. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
But have that thought rattling around in your head, why don't you?
Yeah, assuming you haven't seen the episode beforehand.
Yeah, whatever. Let's just keep talking the way we talk. It's how we do. Anyway, horrifying existential dread of Oscar and Ozpin aside, I'm not sure if we're going to be getting the full conclusion to that this volume, but it seems like they're setting it up to be, at least.
Like, I gotta say, like, this conversation in particular, like, Ozpin saying he doesn't want, like, his and Oscar's souls to merge, and essentially Oscar not be himself anymore. I'm just like, if Ozpin cared about all his other lives the same way as Oscar...
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking.
God!
I'm left wondering, how many times has this exact conversation happened between, I guess, you know, the original soul and all of the bodies that he's gone into?
Man, I want Oz to be put out of his misery already.
In a capacity, because, you know, but I mean, technically, theoretically, if it were feasible for Oscar to stay dominant and be his own self, he has all the memories, he has all that stuff. Theoretically, say this whole situation gets absolved and Salem, for however they end up getting rid of her, they get rid of her, and Oscar can just be himself. That would technically allow Ozpin to, you know, basically pass on in a way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then after Oscar inevitably dies himself, then Oz would just, like, reincarnate into someone else.
I suppose.
The only way they can stop that cycle is to bring the gods back, and if they deem, like, oh, humanity's cool, then they'll bring magic back, Oz will finally be able to rest.
See, now I'm just really, I'm sure it's going to be a really serious and somber moment, no matter which direction it ends up going, but ultimately I just can't help but feel like I see the gods coming down after Salem gets defeated in whatever capacity that is, looking at Ruby and going, yo, what's going on? And Ruby's like, hey, check it out. I don't know. just so incredibly chill. It's like, oh, hey, God. For some reason, that's really funny to me.
That is, actually.
Anyway, so, Jean tries to help Ren, but Ren is very snippy right now and doesn't want pep talks. He wants everyone to shut up. And Jean's feelings are hurt by this, which I do not blame him.
Nor do I, and oh boy.
Unquestionably, there's something up with Ren.
Yeah, Ren,
Speaking
please stop that.
Please stop doing that. And in other news, speaking of unquestionably a thing is happening with a character, Penny. She has some issues. A lot of self-doubt all up in there.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, we're back. We're back with Team RWBY, and I don't mean RWBY in the sense of the name of the show. I mean Team RWBY in the sense that RWBY is leading the team. That is the one that she is currently leading.
By the way,
It's an odd distinction.
I've seen people call this group Team Rainbow.
That works. The majority of the letters. Yeah, actually, yeah. They almost have enough letters to make that work.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a good chunk. Anyway, well, I feel like I'm obligated to take over at least a little bit for this scene because Weiss's grand plan has been unveiled.
Yep.
Turns out there's a dust depot that's under complete and total Schnee control in every conceivable regard. Ironwood's orders mean absolutely nothing here.
Yeah. I gotta say, though, the name of it, Snowshoe Shipping. Say it 10 times fast.
Snowshoe shipping, snowshoe shipping, snowshoe snip, 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 snip. Yes. I think we can all agree that I just did it perfectly.
Yeah, I think I saw like a post from, I think it was Kara, or at least about Kara, about like that line being a little tricky when voice acting.
It is a tongue twister, admittedly.
Yeah, so hey, props to her.
Yeah. So basically, this entire little depot is kind of a post office, generally. Also, man, I paused this at the absolute most perfect moment. I am going to print screen because that is an amazing face Weiss is making right now.
Oh, be sure to send it to me.
I absolutely will. So Blake is in the middle of telling a joke. Is like, is there any building in this place that your family doesn't own?
Okay.
And Weiss takes mild offense to that.
All right, this is another scene I was referring to when I said I'd go back to Yang.
Go for it.
This joke Blake is telling, doesn't it seem kind of like a sort of joke Yang would make?
It's... Well, yes, but at the exact same time, it's sort of just kind of... Maybe not the type of joke, but the fact that Blake, of all people, is making jokes. I think that alone is influence of Yang.
Yeah. Also, I've just noticed that Ruby's like a little shocked while looking at Blake.
Yeah, but also at the same time...
It's just like, oh god, no, don't tell me there's gonna be two of them.
Oh, absolutely, but at the same time, man, okay. I realize, you know, our entire discussions are these disorganized messes, but at the same time, I don't entirely care. So I'm just going to try and come on, Twitter, do the thing. I want to send this over. Okay, ideally, mostly, look at Weiss's face, but even after I looked at it a little bit further, look at Ruby's face, too. These are really good faces. As Weiss slowly dawns on her. Damn, I set her up for that joke so well. And I thought Yang wasn't here, so I thought I wouldn't get attacked for this sort of thing.
You know...
Really? Blake? You're doing this now?
Yeah, and... Okay. Like, yeah, I'm going back to the Yang scene, because doesn't it seem like they kind of have some influence on each other?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, and I like that. It shows.
Although, interestingly enough, honestly, it kind of feels like the positive aspects of Yang are rubbing off on Blake, while some of the more negative aspects of Blake are rubbing off onto Yang, at least in these first two episodes of this sort of cagey defiance, I suppose. I feel like I'm reading too much into that particular aspect. I don't think it means anything. It just suddenly dawned on me when I noticed that, yeah, no, Blake is definitely taking positive influence from Yang. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
By the way...
And I'm probably reading too into it. Ignore that.
I actually would love a scene. Could you imagine if Blake makes a pun? And then someone in the group is just like, Yang, what have you done?
What have you
done? Or just like, great, now there's two of them.
I know, but at the same time, Yang has made, like, what, 3 puns over the course of 8 seasons? She really doesn't do it that often.
Yeah, so I guess then Blake doing it would just be like, whoa.
Just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like, when did you become hilarious? Stop that. It's weird.
I actually want to see Yang's reaction when Blake does it.
Yeah, that's probably, it would probably be the best reaction out of any of them.
RWBY, let Blake do a pun.
Do the pun. Do the thing. Anyway, we're kind of stepping over a very dramatic moment. Penny is super seriously not okay with literally everything that's going on.
Can I just say before we get to that?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
Like, after Weiss's response, Blake starts chuckling, and it makes me happy.
I know it does.
Anytime Blake is happy, like, or laughs, it makes me smile. Because of, like, all the stuff she's gone through.
To be fair, true 100% genuine smiles from Blake were at one point exceptionally rare in every capacity. So no, you should always point them out and always treasure them. Yeah, that's a command from me to you. Yeah, also treasure those smiles. Protect it.
We got to see from the DC Comics that, well, she was actually sort of like this, like way back in the day, even while in the White Fang.
Yeah, like, it's just, you know,
upbeat, jokey.
The horrors made her jaded.
Yeah, especially when a certain person came along.
Yeah, well, he's dead now.
Yeah, he is.
So there you go. No, and no yelling fan base will ever bring him back. At least I hope not, unless he comes back as some sort of horrifying grim monster. Oh man, I just realized something. Characters so very characters so. And no. I'm just saying, characters so very rarely die in this series. It suddenly dawned on me. Because it's something that, you know, some fans have speculated, even though there's literally no basis whatsoever on the possibility of it being a thing in the first place. It's usually in the context of Pyrrha, of her coming back as some sort of weird human grim abomination created specifically for the purposes of rattling and screwing up with the team. Mm-hmm. If that was a thing, let's just say hypothetically that was a thing. could do the exact same thing with Adam, and I think it would be very effective when it comes to rattling people.
I mean, both in the show and out of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So few characters have died, so bringing back all the ones that did in this horrifying manner, I'm just saying.
I mean, if we're gonna have, like, an everyone is here, like, army v army fight like an Endgame.
In the worst way possible.
Then, yeah, that'd be quite horrifying.
No, it absolutely would. And it's likely, I need to state this for the record, very, very, very unlikely in every regard. I'm just saying, if it did happen, it would be both horrible and kind of awesome at the same time. Just saying. Anyway. Penny is really not doing so well right now.
Yeah, because she don't like it when people don't get along.
She really don't, because Penny is a never-ending... I was going to say something... Okay, I was going to say a never-ending machine, but I didn't actually mean it in that way. I didn't mean to... Because he is a robot, but that's not why I was saying that. Anyway, she's a never-ending source of joy and happy and optimism and smiles. So when things go down and she starts getting sad, it's really effective, I feel. Lest we ever forget the jet-boosted tackle hug.
Yeah, never forget that scene.
Never forget.
And I do like how RWBY, like, you know, comforts her and says, "Hey, you're still doing the right thing. Like, it's all gonna be okay."
But you do have to look at it from her perspective. I mean, she was the, you know, the protector of the entire city. She was, you know, looked up to and all that good stuff. And now basically she kind of has to physically and metaphorically in all senses of the term turn her back to that side of everything and sort of go rogue to do the right thing. And considering all that because again, she's like almost entirely human, but there is an aspect of her that is basically machinery. There are things that she's programmed to feel, even if she is starting to outgrow that aspect of her. I mean, obviously she got maiden power, so she's obviously more human than machine at this point. But that is still deep down in there, I think. That, like, no, I'm doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to do, and it's really hurting my everything right now. But no, seriously, shout out to RWBY being an extraordinarily kind and supportive friend. Yeah.
But everybody needs a friend like RWBY.
Exactly. She also gives good hugs.
Yeah.
Hugs because that is how the RWBY do. Regardless, we have our theories, and none of them are good, so we're just all gonna kind of hope things work out for Penny. Please don't get hacked, Penny. I know you are, but please don't anyway.
We know that's gonna happen to you, but please don't let it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. Oh yeah, she can turn invisible. I forgot that she could do that. Good on you. Character I think is named May.
Yeah, it is May.
There you go. Yeah. Good on you, May.
Admittedly, I kind of forgot that too, but I had that realization. It's just like, oh my god, yeah, her coming along for this makes perfect sense.
It's like, oh yeah, she can make herself invisible. That's actually really freaking useful. And in fact, it's basically Ilya's power, but better.
Well, actually, not only can she have herself be invisible, like she can put up like a little barrier that makes anything within it see-through.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exceptionally useful. Quick question. I know this has nothing to do with anything, and we're probably not even going to see Ilya for a very long time, if ever. Was that just strictly a faunus thing that she could change her color, or was that also her semblance?
I think it was her faunus trait.
I believe that is the case. If that's the case, did we ever get any indication on what her semblance was?
I don't think we ever did, no.
Okay. Because I guess I just saw that and assumed and never thought to question it. Regardless.
Maybe they're saving that for later. Like, they'll bring Ilya back, and then she'll be like, oh, by the way, I unlocked my semblance. I can do this.
Check it out. I can freaking fly for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Or no, because we'll be in Vacuo. Turns out she can, like, control sand. And then...
I mean, a lizard could do that. There are sand-based lizards.
And then she'd be like a sandbender from Avatar.
Absolutely. Anyway, so, Weiss's grand plan. Basically, they have these gigantic Futurama transport tubes for sending cargo to and from all over the dang place.
I'm so happy you called it that.
Yes, well, what else could I possibly call it? I mean, I feel like that was the inspiration. It's basically, because these are the things They aren't there anymore, I don't think, but some post offices had basically these pressurized tubes for sending things throughout buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where Futurama got the inspiration for it just being, well, what if humans transported through them? And ultimately, that's kind of where this all coincides here. Regardless, plan is getting them tubes, set the whole thing to go up into the right place, and it can just kind of floop them over to where they need to get to that terminal. Easy peasy, everything is good.
I'm trying to go frame by frame. Oh god, I just noticed Nora's face before anything happens.
Yep, I don't know what you're talking about. Moving entirely on, the plan goes without a hitch, and nothing of interest happens, and we move on from the scene is what happens. Okay, thank you and good night.
Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. If this happened to Blake, you would want to talk about it.
No, I would not, because I respect you and your admiration for your favorite character, and I would drop it because that's not how I am as a person.
Okay, then if this happened to Ruby, you would want to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So no offense to anyone who holds Ruby in the same regard that I do Blake and Max does Weiss.
Well, we don't have anybody like that here. So, point is, not talking about it, okay? Everybody who saw the episode knows what it was. They know why I don't want to talk about it. We're moving on.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, like, just a little advice to Weiss. Next time you're doing a demonstration, maybe don't do the thing and leave Nora at the button.
Well, judging by her expressions, it clearly, obviously didn't occur to her that that would happen. Anyway, we've spoken too much. We're now at the crater.
Alright.
Anyway, hey look, it's Sheep Girl. Apparently she's the leader of everything now because Robin is busy.
Fiona.
Fiona the sheep. She's got sheepy ears. And yet she doesn't have people ears. So why does Blake have people ears and kitty ears?
Okay, Kerry mentioned this on a panel when people were asking about it. Okay, close your eyes.
Okay.
Picture Blake.
I am.
And now try picturing her without the human ears. And that looks weird.
It does. That is true. It's a good thing she has so much goddamn hair to cover them up at all times to the point where that would never actually be a factor.
Well, not as much now, but...
I know, but that wasn't the case for the first 6 volumes of the series.
The point is, it looked weird.
Fair, whatever.
Although...
Just saying.
Although I did see this fan comic where someone decides to do that with Fiona, but the opposite way around.
Fair enough.
So, like, under her hair are human ears.
That is absolutely horrifying.
It is, but it was made for a funny comic.
It did, and you know what? Fair is fair. I get it. I've designed characters myself. Sometimes you just stretch how things work in order to make things not unpleasant looking. That's just kind of how character design works, I understand. I just felt like I absolutely had to point it out, because Fiona here is the perfect counter-argument to Blake. Although I've got to say, man, like, does Blake have, like, is she super susceptible to loud noises?
The only thing we have is, like, that scene in Chibi where someone has a dog whistle.
I know, that doesn't count, though. I'm just saying, like, if a really, really loud noise happened, would the fact that she has 4 ears hurt her more than it would another person?
Well, no scene has happened to really justify that.
Fair enough. It probably never will. I'm asking questions that will never have answers.
Like, yeah, we can make assumptions because, yeah, you'd think because she has cat ears, you know, the hearing from them is, like, way better.
Yeah, fair. I mean, you would assume. Anyway, one last thing I want to talk about that has absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with anything, and I'm pretty sure you'd have absolutely no idea who I'm talking about, but I very quickly want to bring up Fiona's semblance of basically shifting matter into some sort of alternate dimension inside of her right arm. Okay. Anybody who's watching this, it's feasible. If anybody is watching this who's seen Inuyasha, and you know the character Moroku, this is basically his power, except she has the power to get the stuff back out. And I can't stop thinking about that. Does anybody else make that same conclusion?
I have no idea.
Please tell me if you did. I know you don't. I'm talking to the audience right now.
Okay.
I need to know I'm not alone.
Also, I'm gonna just throw this out there. We see a bunch of other faunas in the background.
Yeah?
With animal ears on the top of their head. and human is. So it's not just
Oh.
Blake.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I wasted everyone's time bringing it up. I admit that, and I apologize.
No, it's also just like others bringing it up because I've seen like people complain about it. I'm just like, it's not
okay,
just
whoa,
Blake
whoa,
people.
whoa. Yes, okay, whoa, but hang on. Hold the phone. Okay, this is very important. I was never complaining. I was questioning. Big difference.
Okay, fair. Sorry.
It's okay. I was never once complaining about it. I thought it was funny and wanted to bring it up. That's all.
Although,
But ultimately, at the end of the day, the answer is design aesthetics. It is what it is.
it would look weird.
It would look weird.
Also,
Anyway,
you know what else?
Fiona's freaking adorable.
She is.
Very happy.
I can understand why she's most people's favorite of the Happy Huntresses.
Yeah, I feel like her role and everything ultimately was a result of people finding her so adorable.
Yeah.
Kind of like a miniature case of Velvet.
A tad, actually, yeah.
I mean, I feel like that had to have played some aspect, and it's like, whoa, everyone really liked this one character that we didn't have really anything super planned for. Let's make them slightly more relevant for a little bit so people can see them more.
Watch, Fiona is gonna get her own book written by E.C. Myers. It's gonna be...
I mean, it's
It's gonna be the
impossible.
origin of the Happy Huntresses. Well, we also get a
mean-
little bit of the Aesops.
I mean, admittedly, that would be actually pretty awesome.
No, that would actually. I'd be up for that.
I mean,
cool.
as far as stories are concerned, that's something they could talk about and would be pretty cool. Anyway, we get an update on basically the status of the crater and how, well, you know, things are going about as well as you can expect, which isn't great.
You know what else isn't great? Like, someone brings up, like, the rest of the cast, and Yang gets really mad.
Yeah, she does.
Like, what is your deal, woman?
I don't know. What is happening with Yang right now? Anyway, we
Also,
are alerted
Ren-
to the fact.
Ren just pieces out.
Yeah, no, Ren does that a lot. I'm not 100% sure why he does these things, but he does them.
And Jean's like... Jean looks, like, in his direction and is all concerned.
Yeah, because that is how the Jean do.
Yeah.
Anyway, as it turns out, a bunch of Grimm are happening again. We should probably do something about that. Yang's like, hey, you know what? I'm real good at punching things. Maybe I can do that. But then, shock and horror, turns out she can't punch the thing. It's too high up. So they have to ash.
There is something I do want to bring up and praise RWBY for. I'm just getting to the moment this character shows up. Hey, here's Uncle Gus, as I'm calling him. Well, sorry, Uncle Simmons, as I'm calling him now.
You messed up the joke, but you know what? You still did it anyway, and I respect that.
Yeah, so, the mole Faunus that we met in the first episode, turns out he's Fiona's uncle.
Go figure.
Yeah, and we even see in the background, like, Oscar's waving to him as like, oh, hey, nice to see you again, and Yang's, like, confused.
Yeah. How you know this mole hand man?
Yeah.
How you know Hans?
And, like, yeah, this is something that I want to praise RWBY for, because there's a lot of films that probably would have done, like, a really stupid flashback to show, like, oh, yeah, or, like, have someone explain, oh, yeah, this is how they found Oscar where he was, because that's Fiona's uncle. They would have talked, they would have found him, easy peasy.
Yeah, instead it's just like, people can piece it together. It's not 100% vital information, but if someone cared enough to actually wonder, there's the answer if you're looking for it.
Yeah, like, RWBY respects your intelligence and allows you to put the pieces together yourself.
Huzzah for unneeded flashbacks not existing.
Yeah, just like, wait, Fiona and this guy, so that means they... Oh...
And Faunus genetics really are just absolutely absurdly random.
Well, okay, if there was a World of Remnant about this...
I know, I fully understand it. It's just, it's basically, if like two Faunus that have a kid can like just end up with randomly just about anything conceivable.
Well, it depends on... Okay, if it's two Faunus of the same type, then yeah, that kid is going to be that type of Faunus.
Okay, but if it's two Faunuses of different types, then the kid could end up being literally anything.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Like if, let's say, a wolf Faunus and a mole Faunus had a kid, it could come out a dragon Faunus or something.
for whatever reason, because genetics be crazy.
Yeah. I want to see a dragon furnace.
Yeah, actually, I do too. But
I remember there being so many theories that, like, oh, Yang is secretly a dragon furnace.
I mean, that would have been baller, but no.
I'm pretty sure we would know by now. She don't have wings,
no.
a tail, scales.
Quite literally anything. Slightly longer fingernails. Like come on here. Anyway, now they're fighting this wingaling Grim fellow, and Oscar has something I can only describe as some kind of wind grenade. I'm not sure I'm not sure what else to call it, but it was cool. Because it knocks the dude into the thing, and then Jean does a really cool move.
Yeah, he like jousts it.
He jousts it onto the thing. He has a hard time sticking the landing, but he technically does. So we're giving that one a 3 out of 5. He was a little wobbly on the exit, but he did okay. He did good.
You know, I made that joke in my reaction after he did it. I just go, judges, 7 out of 10. Okay.
Absolutely. You know what? So they think they're done? Nah, there's always more things to do, and everyone's getting really kind of bummed out about that. Except for Ren, who's just looking very irritated and pissed off. And I know I keep bringing that up, but until eventually it pays off, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, same with me and Yang.
It's like, come on now. Anyway.
What?
Oh yeah. Okay. So basically,
deals.
Indeed. So here's the thing: a bunch of Grimm show up, and they're running after them, and they're about to attack. And then they are all like, oh, wait, no. And then they apparently run away. Whether that's by order or by fear, we don't know quite yet.
Yeah,
either way, they run away. And that's not
confused.
normal for Grimm. Yes, because that's not something Grimm do. Why would they run away from anything?
Yeah, and before they can even contemplate that, also I've just seen Ren's face as Oscar gets tackled.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. Holy crap. A lot of faces in this one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Oscar gets attacked by a big honkin' Grimm, and it just goes absolutely nuts on him.
Yeah, like, oh, it's brutal.
Like, arm biting and flinging and slamming and smashing, and my god, it is legitimately actually kind of unsettling.
Yeah, and speaking of unsettling, it, well, like,
this Grimm is really pulsatey.
Yeah, and it's like, the way it's shifting and the sound effects, like, it uses... Ugh.
Yeah, no, it's all very disturbing. So this Grimm can kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of shapeshift, and it was sort of a wolf-like creature, but then it becomes bipedal, and it decides to pick up Oscar, and everyone's all like, oh damn, gotta save Oscar. Then it starts using him as a shield.
Yeah!
and that's also odd.
And yeets Yang into a wall.
That it sure do, and Ren tries to do what he can. His patented zipline kick does not work.
Ren, look. I know you like that technique, but it doesn't work out for you a whole lot.
No, it actually doesn't.
Like, I know a couple people that could help you out with that. Look out for a couple people with the last name Ackerman.
Yeah,
they'll train you right.
So, John makes the very astute observation. Wait a second. Grimm are idiots. Why is it using him as a shield? That's not normal.
Could you imagine if that Grimm got a little mad at him for saying that? Like, hey,
yeah, well,
Grimm
interesting
that
you would say. Yeah, well, interesting that you would say that, because then the very next thing that the Grimm does is freaking talk.
Yeah, Ren's all, hey, give Oscar back, and the Grimm's all, no.
And like, that obviously kind of freaks some people out. And as they're freaking out from the aspect of a Grimm actually speaking, then it freaking grows wings and flies away.
Man, everything has wings now.
Everything has wings now. Just part of the hit cult classic horror movie, They Got Wings Now.
Okay, I brought this up in my reaction as well, but... You know that Dragon Ball joke? Like,
I believe I do.
Why does no one attack something when they're transforming?
Okay, admittedly, that's something a lot of the comments talk about too, as to why everyone is just staring and not actually helping Oscar at that moment.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure you would be paralyzed by fear in that situation too.
On one hand, I completely understand where people are coming from, because, yeah, realistically, you would think that you could. However, on the other hand, I gotta look at it from the perspective of the characters. Really, honestly, and truly, This is something that has literally never happened before in the history of ever in their universe, and a lot of it happened in very quick succession. And I feel like it's completely understandable for them to be a little taken back. Maybe by not as much as it ended up being, but still.
Yeah, also there could just be cinematic time and whatnot.
There's a lot of things that it could potentially be. Either way, I'm not gonna fault the show on it, because whatever. It's trying to tell the story, and this is how the story gets told. Yeah. They probably could have more easily incapacitated the other three before it did this, or maybe it did it faster. It could have been done a little better, perhaps, but ultimately, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah. Also, just throwing this out there, I don't hold anything against Dragon Ball for that.
Oh, no, obviously not.
And I even like how they took a shot at it in Dragon Ball Super, where 17 attacks someone when they're transforming, and everyone is like, dude,
offended.
Not cool.
That is like the one thing you don't do. Anyway, as fun as that is, everyone is understandably kind of freaked out majorly by that.
Yeah.
Yang has to relay this information to Fiona. Is like, hey, what's happening? And you know what? Yang actually, as much as people have been ragging on characters for not just telling people the truth as they're happening,
would you believe her?
Would you believe that? Would you believe that? Would you? Yeah, okay, so a Grimm showed up, and it was smart enough to use Oscar as a human shield, then it spoke to us, and then it grew wings and flew away. Yeah, I know nothing has ever happened like that in the past whatsoever to make that seem feasible, but that's what happened. So you're just going to have to take my word for it, person I sort of only know barely. If Yang was talking to Ruby or something, maybe she would have been like, okay, no, here's the thing that actually happened. But, you know, to somebody she barely knows, I get it.
Yeah. Also, you know, gotta focus on trying to save Oscar.
Yeah. Gotta put all of our focus on that. And they are on the hunt for it.
Yeah,
and
that Grimm is
where the episode ends.
That Grimm is called the Hound, by the way.
And it's voiced by the same guy who voices Crow.
Yeah, and... Okay, so I had this little theory about the Hound, but then it turned out a whole bunch of other people had the exact same theory. And
yes, you told me about this, but I don't pay attention to any of that sort of stuff, so you might as well tell me what this is.
Okay, so... You know how Cinder has that Grimm arm that's consuming her?
Yes.
What if that's the end result? So what if this is a person that's been, like, turned into a Grimm, and they've sort of, like, been corrupted by Salem?
That is actually totally feasible, and now that I think about it.
Yeah, and the big thing that people are speculating is, what if it's Summer?
Okay. I'm not going to say that that's not impossible, because we know for a fact that Salem and Summer Rose have encountered each other to the point where Salem knows what happened to her specifically.
Yeah. Also, it's not been, like, really stated by anyone that she's, like, well... Okay, yeah, we have her grave, and yeah, everyone thinks that she's dead, but we still don't know how she died, or, you know.
True. There are a lot of variables we don't have answers to. That is true. I think the odds of that specific Grimm, the Hound, being Summer, to be unlikely. I'm not going to say that the theory is wrong. It's feasible that maybe that sort of thing did end up happening to Summer, but I feel like it would be a different creature altogether. That is my personal feelings on it. I think that's a good theory. I think it's something to consider and think about, but I do not think this specific one would be Summer. I feel like that would be a twist for a different situation at a different period in time.
I have seen people speculate, oh, what if it's Torchwick?
That would be hilarious.
Or what if it's Adam? Just anyone who's died. Just be like, oh, it could be them.
I mean, the only one it theoretically couldn't be is Pyrrha because she turned into ashes.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, I guess it's not impossible if you caught them.
Yeah, we don't know what the limits of Salem's capabilities are.
We don't really understand how Grimm are made, actually.
That
we know that... I mean, we know that she does it, and we've seen her do it, but how it works, that is a bit of a mystery. And I also feel like we're probably not going to get a complete explanation as to how that works, because we don't really need one.
Well, at least not for right now.
Yeah, at the very least right now. So I'm not going to say that that's not impossible. I'm not going to buy into it wholesale right now, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, like, I'm not buying into it 100% right now. Just, okay, it's a possibility.
That's totally a thing that I'm willing to admit could be a thing. That I can say. You know, when we did the first episode, it was actually kind of comforting doing so, because I was like, man, at least I know what happens immediately after this one, so I'm not full of all these weird questions. But now we don't have that. The third episode isn't out yet as we record this, and boy howdy.
We've got no idea.
Boy howdy. Am I not okay with this level of uncertainty? I feel uncomfortable.
And there's a whole bunch of shots from the trailer we haven't seen yet.
That is also true.
Like, Yang having those freaked out eyes.
Yeah, that's definitely not great.
Yeah. That could be just to see, like, oh, the Hound is taking Oscar to the whale, and oh my god, there's this much Grim.
Yeah, no, see, that's what I'm hoping for. I want that reaction to be for something like that, and not for something significantly worse.
I mean, considering who I am, I'm hoping that's the reason for it too.
Yeah, well, obviously, but at the same time, again, I said this before and I'll say it again. If there's one thing I'm 100% sure of, no matter what, and I feel like the only 100% certainty for this series is that the characters of RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang are fully 100% bulletproof. I feel like they could go through a lot. They can be horribly injured, brought to near death, as they have been so far, and I feel like could continue to do so. But I do not think at any conceivable moment any of those characters will die. That would kind of destroy the whole point of the damn show.
Yeah, like, oh, you do this show and then you kill off the title characters.
Yeah, that's not how you do things. That being said,
remember when they killed off Naruto and made Sasuke the protagonist?
Yeah, that didn't happen. That's because that'd be absolutely bananas.
Or when they killed off Akane and Akame got killed and was like, oh, Leone's the main character now.
Man, that would have been a way different show, but that's besides the point. That being said, literally any other character, I'm talking literally any other character, Jean, Crow, Maria, Geppetto,
Pietro.
Thank you. Literally any other conceivable character, Tai Yang, Cinder, actually anybody else. I'm going to say they all have different levels of possibilities of dying, but they all have some, even if it's as low as 1%. But the RWBY girls themselves, 0.
Yeah, like, anyone...
So I feel like no matter what, nobody ever has to worry about those 4. If your favorite character is literally anyone other than those 4, I am deeply sorry for that.
I mean, I'm still worried for Blake because, you know, I don't enjoy seeing her suffer.
Well, no, obviously. You know, for all of the horrible things that Blake has gone through, you know what she hasn't had happen to her?
What?
Impalement.
I mean, she did get stabbed.
Yeah, but you know what? There is a difference between being stabbed and impaled.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry, was Adam's sword on fire when that happened?
No, but there was also a lot of bleeding, and she had to carry Yang, like, for quite a ways, with a hole in her stomach.
No, I absolutely understand. I get you. But still, I'm just saying, the point is, do you think that I get enjoyment out of seeing my favorite character suffering?
I mean, have you recently listened to the discussion we had for the episode when that happened?
Yeah, okay. I have not watched it, actually. I assume I reacted somewhat negatively.
Oh, you did. Like, your first words were that you were in a glass case of emotion, and you said it. Yeah.
Fun fact, I never watch any of the videos that I make or am a part of, and don't remember everything I say and do.
I re-listen to them sometimes just because we had fun when recording. It was just like, I want to remember that fun.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just, it's a completely separate issue with me, but I understand.
Oh, you just hate the sound of your own voice, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I despise it with every fiber of my being.
No, I get that as well, but I found that, like, you know, listening back in editing, it's actually made me a bit more tolerable of it.
Yeah, I really need to just kind of take that point. I've been making videos for 8 years. You think I would eventually have decided maybe I should just get used to that fact. Haven't done it yet. Need to get around to it.
Maybe re-listening to our discussions might help, which is, hey, maybe you guys watching, go to Max's channel, look up all the other discussions that we've done. Or the Let's Plays he does, or you're doing Death Battle reactions again, right?
I am, in fact, doing those, yes.
There you go.
I was not expecting an end-of-episode plug for my channel, of all things, but thank you.
And you know what? If you're a fan of my Death Battle reactions, which most people seem to be, just saying, and I mean most people that subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, obviously.
Max's were one of the 4 that originally inspired them.
There you go. So, it all works out. Crazy, I know. Anyway, seeing as how we've reached the point of the episode where we're talking about not the show, and in fact plugging ourselves for no reason, I think we've said all that we can say for the time being.
I mean, yeah, for the most part. Like,
at the end of the day, what do we think? We think that the show was good. It was a good episode. I think you could agree with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good episode. We want to see what happens next. We're horribly frightened by any of the possible implications that we might have ended up with.
I'm still like wondering what the hell's gonna happen to like RWBY and her group when they, you know, get up on the other side of the tubes.
Yeah, I'm a bit interested about that too.
Wait, I had a realization.
What's that?
Weiss's instructions were that they sit back in the tube, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Then that means they would come out the other end, but first.
I suppose technically that would be what happens, yes.
Plushy Blake, get a boom tube ready!
And then he transported to a different dimension, because apparently that's the life he lives. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully he'll also be here.